Hey there, comic book friends. I'm Travis. It's time for another edition of Monster Comic Reviews, where I talk about my monster load of superhero books. I actually have quite a few. Of course, I'm doing this as a Google Hangout because I don't have to do any rendering and uploading and all that kind of stuff. Not so much because I'm lazy. This has just been a crazy week, and I'm kind of running out of time to get this done, and I want to talk about my books. So I'm going to talk about some books in no particular order, and we'll see what strikes my fancy as we go along here. And yeah, just gonna talk some comic books. Let's talk Cowl, issue number 8. As much as it's a bunch of random people staying on a symbol, I like it because it's yellow and purple. Anyway, really enjoying this comic. I wasn't sure what it was gonna be like after we got past, I think, issue 6, I believe it was, because at issue 6 is where the screenplay ends. The comic book ends there. This was originally written as a screenplay for films class by the writer, and he's taking it to the next step by adding more story and continuing the story. And I'm really enjoying it. For people who have never heard of Cowl before, Cowl is a superhero union in Chicago, set in the late 60s. Yeah, and most of the crime is gone. There is no supervillain crime. So the city is wanting to renegotiate or not hire the superheroes anymore, or they don't want to hire them as a union. They maybe might hire them as individuals, but not as a whole union. So the union's gone on strike, and some negotiating is going on. So those are kind of the elements that are in it. There's some deeper mysteries going on in it and stuff. There's some people who are crossing the line, being scabs, and because they actually they aren't just part of the union. They believe in the cause. They believe in protecting people and that sort of thing. So they're not going to stop doing what they do because of the because they're on strike. They're going to continue to do the good and righteous thing. And it's actually, like I said, it's really interesting. I really like it. I really dig the art. This kind of style. It's like a mix between Phil Noto and Bill Sekowitz art in a lot of ways. And I really appreciate that. There's some really interesting characters in here. This woman, I'm drawing a blank on what her name is right offhand. I really like her. She's got a lot of power, and she's one of the people that's crossing the picket line, basically. She's been doing it secretly, but here's the union president here smoking a cigar, but he's figured it out. And, he's basically scolding her, telling her that she needs to stop. But she has enough power. She's powerful enough. She's this massive telekinetic that they can't just, like, make her step in line. I mean, she's got some power. And she basically, tells him, hey, shut it. I do what the hell I want to do. So, yeah, I'm really enjoying it. There's a lot of aspects, a lot of political stuff going on, kind of the union management thing going on. There's this deeper plot about the fact there are no supervillains, and suddenly supervillains start showing up again, which is really interesting. And some of the supervillains are just kind of crazy looking and stuff. So really enjoying this book a lot more than maybe I thought I was going to. But yeah, it's been pretty cool. Like I said, the art's really strong on it. It's got a good vibe to it. It has a 60s feel to it. And it, because it's grounded in Chicago, it kind of feels like a real place because they use real elements of Chicago in it. So good stuff for independent comics that has to do with superheroes in some sense. A little more nuts and bolts superhero because of the whole union thing, but still pretty cool. To have an independent superhero book. I kind of wish there was more of that. I love some of my big two characters, but they don't always really adventure into actual nitty-gritty story, and I want that. Next up, a comic I never really thought that I would be interested in. A character I had no interest in, but kind of heard some other people talking about it, so picked it up, and now I'm loving it. Angela, Asgard's assassin. Now, there's parts of the story element here that lose me. I am not deeply versed in Thor's universe, Asgard, and all the workings there. I know some of the characters. I'm learning through some of the Thor that I had read in the past and some of the Loki, but I don't know a ton about that in this. But I don't feel lost. It doesn't matter that much. I mean, they kind of explain it's something like if they're going to a significant place or they're meeting significant people, that all gets explained to us, which is great. The artwork in this thing is just top notch. With the Stephanie Hans stuff, she does the cover, which is gorgeous. I really like her work. I wish they had her doing more of it. She does like the sub stories in this. It's like when every issue they seem to kind of get off on a kind of a tell a story sort of a part of the book. And when those parts happen, she does the artwork, and it is always just extra incredible. The coloring, the way she digitally colors and whatnot, it's rich, it's vibrant. She should just have a whole book all to herself. But the other artist that's on it, of course, Phil Jimenez obviously is a rock star artist too, so does great proportionately sound women and whatnot. In this issue, Angela gets a new costume. She's a little less chainmail bikini now. She's more plate mail bikini. Well, not really bikini, but so that's sweet. That's cool. She gets a new costume. The story leading up to that is really awesome. The best thing in here is we get some more background on her friend Steffa. Her name's longer than that. But we get a background on her. We find out that the character is trans, and the way it is transgender, the way it is delivered is just excellent. I mean, it's just there. It's just part of the story. It's not a spectacle. It's not a something. And I really appreciate that. I mean, it was just a cool way to slip it in. It's something different about the character. It's not a linchpin of the character. It's not, it wasn't the book. It didn't consume the book. It was just kind of a matter of factly, here it is. So much so that I had to wait for other people I know that read the book to read the book so I could ask them that I would make sure I wasn't misconstruing something. Not that it was unclear. It's just, it almost seems so simple. Just simply, this is what it is, that it almost caught me off guard, and that's pleasant. It was pleasant. This is a $4 Marvel book. I'll continue to keep getting it because, like I said, I really have been enjoying it. It's been a lot of fun. If you like the kind of sword and sorcery, warrior woman sort of a thing, and you're like me and you're afraid of Red Sonja, I think this is a groovy thing. I think it's really cool. I don't know how close this comes to Red Sonja, but yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for the next issue, even though I'm apprehensive because, of course, this is Guardians of the Galaxy, and Guardians of the Galaxy are everywhere. I don't read Guardians of the Galaxy, and I could care less about Guardians of the Galaxy. But Angela playing cards with them, and her whole debt and pay debt back thing, I'm curious. I'm really curious to see what that's going to be. So like I said, issue 3, have been enjoying it so far. Every issue I enjoy even more. I'm curious as to how long this story, the On the Run story, is going to go. But yeah, it's like I said, it's been enjoyable. Curious to find out more about Angela and how they use her here. I think that Kieran Gillen, the guy who's writing the majority of the book, I just think he does a really good job of telling this kind of adventure-y kind of a story. I'm going to have to go, I think, and track down his Journey into Mystery, which was out a couple years ago, ended up being canceled. I think Sif was the main character in that. So I'm going to have to track that down. If Matt Cameron's watching, I'm sure he's going to tell me what it is, because I think he read it. I could be wrong. But yeah, so really curious about that. I've really liked the way he's been writing that. I've liked his Young Avengers. I like how he delivers a lot of stories. So I think I'm gonna have to go hunt down some more of his other superhero stuff. But not like Iron Man, that sort of thing, but that adventure kind of thing. I liked quite a bit. Grayson, issue number 7, cover by Janin. I love this cover, even though a lot of it's white, with Grayson and Huntress fighting the cultists of Cain. I love the idea of the cult of Cain. They don't go into great detail on it, just enough for you to get a sense that they're, about nihilism and destruction and the death of stuff. Different artists on the inside. The art was decent. I mean, this person, well, I'm going to find out who it is for sure here. Stephen Mooney could certainly hold his own doing any comic book, I think. They should probably give him some full-time work somewhere, I think. Solid artist. And this was a great, there's some good stuff in this issue. I love some of the emotional pull that there is in this, the fluctuation in moralities as this cyber enhanced brain that they're dealing with is influencing the Middle East, and is going to cause this great war and whatnot. I think the biggest probably thing in this is, I think Midnighter's in this. I think that this issue basically shows the motivation for Midnighter to probably have his own book, that we know that he's going to have his own book coming out of the other side of Convergence, because the people he's working for here, he finds out that they're probably just as crappy of a spy type people as the people he hates. They're willing to sacrifice lots of people. They're willing to let the Cainites unleash their bomb and kill a bunch of people to kind of make a point. And he's not okay with that. He feels that's pretty douchebaggery. So he quits there. There's some interesting Spiral stuff in here, a little bit of interesting Spiral stuff. I'm really enjoying Grayson. I think it's a pretty solid book at most times. I like the elements that are in it. I'm enjoying it way more than I was enjoying Nightwing. Maybe because it feels like he has some direction and he's not getting his ass kicked all the time in it. But yeah, I liked it. There's some good elements in it. Excuse me. The book feels very Dick Grayson-esque. He may not be dressed as Robin. He may not be dressed as Nightwing, but it has the Dick Grayson elements I actually like. The Dick Grayson elements that I felt like kind of came out during the era when, before the New 52, when Dick Grayson was Batman. Kind of the joy of him doing the job. And I kind of like that, because it's a definitely different feeling than the rest of the Bat family. Because most of the rest of the Bat family doesn't seem like they're enjoying the job. Excuse me while I take a drink. Batman Eternal, issue 44. We hunt down a scientist that that has been messing with them for a while. I like the art in this. I don't know that I feel like tons happen. There's some cool things that do happen in the issue. But I'm becoming more and more eager for us to get to the end game of Batman Eternal. I'm kind of thumbing through it as I'm talking because I'm trying to remember some of the other elements that I thought were important. Stephanie Brown once again hits on who it is that she believes is the person that's behind all this, and she's frustrated that no one's responding to what she thinks it is, and that sort of thing. That's the most interesting element for me about the issue. I want to see that. I want to see the Bat family respond to Stephanie Brown's accusations as to who is responsible for what's going on and stuff. You know, and like a lot of people have been talking about, you know, where's Gordon at? Where's all that other stuff? All those other elements that are supposed to be going on. They feel like they've just kind of been dropped. So that's kind of unfortunate. But it's been an interesting experience. I'm looking forward to see where the next issues go as we wrap this up. But I am now in the mode of let's get going. Let's get this wrapped up. I'm losing patience or something. I don't know. I don't know exactly what it is. Something needs to change. Great issue of a Swamp Thing. This is issue number 39. Is the next issue the last issue? Or in March? Yes. March, April. Yes. Right? I believe the next issue is the last issue. Great stuff in here with Lady Weeds and the machine avatar and how the avatar takes control of stuff. Some great stuff in here with Abby. It's awesome to see Abby towards the end of this. John Constantine's in this issue again. It's kind of cool to see him kind of sending off maybe the end of the book here. But still just really enjoyable art by Jesus Saez. Yeah, you know, it's been a solid run. Soul's run on this book has been solid and has been pretty well enjoyable all the way through. So excited to see how it ends, because the next issue is when it ends. And be happy to look back over the whole run, because I don't think any of the run was bad. Yeah, great stuff. Something. Detective Comics issue number 39. Awesome cover. This car smashing through stuff and whatnot. There are some interesting story elements in here. The Mad Hatter's in this. I'm a fan of the Mad Hatter. And they have him really pretty psycho in this. The art is growing on me. I'm not a huge, I guess I decided I'm not, I mean, as far as all the elements that are involved in making a superhero comic, there are some of them that I don't know that I think Francis Manapul is strong at. His fist to cuff combat isn't really strong, I don't think. But in this issue, it's really good because of the elements that they use to create the feel of a fight without having to show a full fight, which I really appreciated that. I thought that was cool. So I'm talking, I'm trying to find it. Yeah, see, here's a full page spread, which I think does a really good job. They just had this Batman there, him looking all, you know, mean and badass and throwing a fist out. And then you can have these other elements around to show little bits and pieces of faces and boots and fists and stuff like that. Gives us the feeling that there was lots of combat and smashing and breaking of things there without having to actually show us all of that. Because like I said, I don't know that his combat to me feels all that strong. But I like his art as far as bigger scenes go and some of like the city elements, you know, these kinds of elements and stuff, the coloring and whatnot, which of course that coloring is Buccellato, the writer, is also the colorist. I think lends a lot to the story, makes it look pretty cool. The story has been cool from a Bullock standpoint, I think. I've always liked Bullock because he's always been kind of that element to be kind of the counterbalance to Gordon's love of Batman. Bullock's always kind of there to kind of temper that. And so I think he's an important element to the story. The other part of this story, though, with Anarchy, not sure I completely get that story. There's some rather large leaps of logic, it feels to me like, in this, and some pretty big presumptions that I think we as a reader are just supposed to kind of connect some things together, and I don't know that they truly actually connect. They're going after the Mad Hatter, Anarchy, and a group of people. We found some pictures in an old orphanage that imply that the Mad Hatter was the groundskeeper, maybe, and that maybe he did something, but we're not 100% sure. And I'm just kind of confused as to why Anarchy is involved in something. This was he one of the people at the orphanage? I mean, is that the way Anarchy is, and how he may have been abused or whatever at the orphanage? Why would that make him Anarchy? I don't understand if that's what they're trying to imply here. And if they're not trying to imply that, why is he suddenly helping this group of people versus all the other people that are running amok in Gotham right now, wearing white masks because their history has been wiped clean and they can do whatever and make whatever they want. So I don't understand that. So I'm hoping the next issue knits that together better for me, because otherwise, right now, like I said, it feels like a large leap in logic that I don't get. That doesn't work. I'm not hating Detective Comics. It's okay, but it's not super great either. I mean, if you are a Francis Manapul art lover, I'm sure it's really awesome. But it's okay. It if I was rating it, out of 5, it's a 3. It's a run of the middle of the road book. And oops, that I just dropped. And I don't, that's not bad. There are just elements about it that I question. As I, clearly know that the creators are listening to my video and they're taking this constructive criticism and moving forward with it, right? At any rate, Ms. Marvel issue number 11. We finally finish the complete story, it seems, of the inventor. And I'm glad this is over. I'm looking forward to the next adventure. I've enjoyed every issue of this. I enjoyed this issue, but it does feel like that element has taken a while now. It feels like the last 3 issues have been them squeezing into the inventor's place and trying to bring him down. So that seemed a little long as far as that goes. And this is me not dogging on the book. I love the book. I love the character. I love the other characters that are in it. Lockjaw in this book is just absolutely perfect. There's some fun stuff. I love the artwork. But I don't know. This issue had some spots in it that, to me, had some weaker elements. At one point, the police get called because she's in way over her head. The police show up. They help her out. And I get that we're supposed to get the impression, and Camilla's supposed to get the message that, she can't do it all herself. Maybe she needs to get some help, and that sort of thing. And, I'm completely behind that. I get that. That's cool. But the way this one policeman delivers this to this superhero client, she's a girl, a little young girl. Maybe that's why he's delivering it the way he is. But it had this almost element of the after school special to it that, I don't know, that part bugged me some. And the beating of the main villain at the end seemed not simple, but somewhat anticlimactic to me. They beat him, they capture him, and then we get this kind of speech from the policeman, that I don't know. So that horrible way of me just trying to talk about this book. I'm looking forward to what's next. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens after this. I know the next issue is like a Valentine's issue, I believe, coming out in a week or so with Loki. That should be fun. Camilla, Ms. Marvel and Loki, I think is going to be a fascinating combination to see what they are like together. It should be fun. This is a fun comic. It's been enjoyable, breakout surprise of last year, and I expect it to continue to be a great book. I'm curious to see what else we get into, or what other kind of elements can she get into, and what other kind of growth there's in the character. Because one of the awesome things about the character is seeing her kind of grow and figure out what this whole superhero thing is. So yeah. And finally, the long lost comic that I'm going to talk about right now. Hawkeye issue number 21 basically takes off where the last issue left off at. And I don't know when that was, September or something like that. Was that when the last issue came out? That being said, I still really enjoyed it. It has all the cool elements that have made this Hawkeye run cool and special in its own thing. Clearly the art style. There's some hilarious parts in here. Cliff is still deaf, so he's reading lips, and so there's these great moments of like here she's not facing him, so it's an empty word balloon, and he's reading lips work. And sometimes when he reads the lips, he's reading them wrong. He doesn't know what people are saying, or he's not reading it wrong, but it's a lot of different options. And so some of that stuff is great. There's a part here where Jessica is talking to him, and she's saying things like, what's so different, and then between the T on the end of it, or is an end, and then and he's not sure if she's saying new or now, and you get stabbed in the head, and a SWATs flies, ? Exclamation point, ? Somewhere. So, that sort of stuff. It's got those kind of funny moments in it. I love the title of this one. It's called Real Bravo, which has a certain element to it and whatnot that I think is cool. All the bros show up and are attacking the building, and there's a ton of them, and most of their dialogue is bro, 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 and then occasionally something has something to do with something bro, which I find funny. I always have. Horrible stuff happens at the end of this. I think we have one more issue, I believe, and then the Fraction run is done on the book. I will be picking that up. I'm curious to see how this all gets tied up to at least cleanse us of this story, because of course Jeff Lemire is going to be taking over on the book. I'm not sure if it's going to restart a new number one. I would guess it would, because this is Marvel, but maybe not. And they're keeping the vibe of the book, but of course they're going to have their own elements in it. And I'm thinking I'm not going to pick that up. I've been going back and forth on whether I am or not. I'm thinking I'm not. I'm thinking that maybe I want to just be happy with this run and the kind of special thing that it was, and move on to something else. Because it's not like I'm heavily invested in the character itself. It's the delivery that the creators gave the character that made the character cool. So, but who knows? I may decide. I may change my mind. I may change my mind and pick that up. I don't know. We'll see what happens there. If that's what I'll do or not. I haven't decided. Anyway, that's my superhero books for this time around. Thanks for watching, and I'm going to shut this thing off, and I'm going to fire it right back up again, because I have a ton of No Cape books to talk about. We'll see how many of them I really talk about. But anyway, that's for another video. Thanks for tuning in, and have a great one, everybody.